Welcome to Marvel Vision, a podcast about Marvel, the MCU, and right now, Secret Invasion. I'm Alex.
I'm Justin, and I'm invaded.
I'm Pete.
And you're also invaded. That's how we introduce this podcast.
We always introduce it with our invasion status. I'm invaded by this episode because it was better than other ones.
Yeah, totally redeemed itself. Come on, let's go.
We're going to be talking about Secret Invasion Episode 4, Beloved, so if you haven't watched it on Disney Plus yet, definitely do, because we're going to spoil it. But in this episode, we're first dealing with the fallout of the death of Gaia. Is Gaia? Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's Gaia. We said Gaia last time for some reason, but it's Gaia.
Well, she's like mostly butter, like Skrulls are like soft like butter, and ghee is a type of butter. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, there you are. All right.
There you are. Oh, there you are.
Anyway, she's not dead. She came back to life thanks to extremists. That's what she put into her body real quick. And that's not important because we don't spend a lot of the episode on that. Instead, we move over to the fact that the handgun that was given to Mrs. Fury was to kill Mr. Fury. They both shoot at each other, but they miss. And then we're done with that.
I do that on a weekly basis with my wife.
Wow, you guys set down guns on the table and then quote poetry to each other and at the last line shoot each other?
Absolutely. Every week we choose a new poem.
Is romance, brother.
Wow, you guys, cool. You know, you guys have successful marriages, so I guess you guys
my wife and I would do Shel Silverstein. We do like,
oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Where the sidewalk ends.
Sister for sale?
And then I shoot at her.
Okay.
That's almost kinky, Alex. That's cool.
Yeah, that's hot, dude.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And then anyway, we're done with that stuff, and then we're on to Don Cheadle as a Skrull, and Nick Fury is trying to catch him, and he doesn't catch
them all.
But the president, who doesn't have much in the way of security, gets attacked by Gravik and his Skrulls in the process. Talos saves the president, but Talos dies. And this is the 3rd out of 4 episodes where somebody has died, quote unquote, at the end of the episode. So, big theme. It's a theme, I believe is what's it called.
Yeah, well, death is
now,
real. Now,
it seems like you guys are more positive on this. We've been pretty negative on the show, waiting for the turn. Pete, you are all on board the Secret Invasion train. Is that what I'm getting?
I am on now. I'm excited. I have hope for the future.
You're invaded.
Yep. In a non-weird way. Yeah, I'm excited. I felt like finally we got a little bit more of a positive term. First off, when a woman came back to life and I was like, yes, thank you, show. Stop killing the women. This is huge. They can all come back to life, hopefully. But also I felt like watching the kind of recap, I was like, oh, it's clear. Everybody's Skrulls. Nobody's human. It's all Skrulls. So I feel like they gave us hope in this episode. Also, that poetry little bit there, that was kind of nice. It was kind of sweet. And then reading poetry to somebody and then not shooting them. I mean, what's more romantic than that? I mean, it was kind of effed up that Fury shot this very nice art piece on the wall that has to do with
a
faces.
Mask.
Yeah,
think about it.
Think about it. Skrulls, we are a mask. I mean, come on, dude. You know what I mean?
Yep, I'm with you. It's that's a metaphor, right in your face. It's so good. It's a meta 5. I like to say.
Nice, dude. I love it.
What about you, Justin? It sounds like you were a little more positive about this one as well.
The show is starting to do, and I don't know if they will, there's not much time left, and they have a lot to have happen still. But this episode, I felt like had some types of scenes that I think are more what I want to see. Like the Fury, Mrs. Fury stuff, I actually thought was pretty good. It's still clumsy. It's not like the 100% right version. But actually, I was in on that scene where they shot and missed each other on purpose. Like, that was fun. Good ending to that scene. Yeah.
Also, War Machine showing some wrestling knowledge, giving a shout out to The Undertaker, talking about DDPs. I thought that was fun. I was like, let Don Cheadle be Don Cheadle. You know what I mean? Like, let him have some fun with
but
this.
That's not Don Cheadle. That's John Deedle.
Yeah, exactly.
Skrull impersonator.
What a coincidence, his name, that he chose him. And I also like the use of the poem. Again, like, a little bit clumsy the way they executed it, but the idea that a poem written about being beloved on Earth, from the perspective of someone who's treating Earth as a sanctuary versus, like, I thought that was a nice idea. I wish they sort of made that part of the story rather than just said it and were like, shrug emoji.
I think it was implied. I think it was implied.
A little bit. I just feel like they're starting to put stuff on the table that is more interesting, but
yes,
I feel like the roadie stuff was so weird, especially as it went on. The fight at the end I thought was clumsy. It doesn't make sense. The idea that all these soldiers would be like, who needs to get the president out? This very bone-crunching old man, Nick Fury, is the only one who
He's
can
the
get
one.
the president
How is that
out?
not clear? Oh, my God.
No, very weird. But Alex... what's
sure. I think I'm probably like we're going clearly in scale of negative, but I agree that I still don't think the show. Hold on.
I just wanted to say one more positive thing before you start shitting on it.
Absolutely.
The fact that Talos was like, like himself halfway as he was saving the president. I know that was kind of dumb, but
No,
I also liked it.
I liked it. Yeah, it was
I
cool.
liked it. Like he could show who he is, and the fact that like people had to be yelled at a little bit, but then rallied behind him. I thought that was cool. So go ahead, Alex. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine. Whenever you have a "yeah, baby, I like it" like that, you got to shout it out. That's how we establish.
That's
how
what we call
roll.
those.
Exactly.
In our outline, that's what we write. Is the
the bear would like
they
rub their chest and they're like, "Oh, okay, we're gonna calm down the argument." You say, "I got a yeah, baby, I like it like that," and then
yeah, baby, I like it like that.
Floor seated. This show is still not good, but this episode was less not good than some of the previous episodes.
I'll take it. That's a W. That's a W.
There you go.
Definitely not.
And that's what we call in the business as a no baby yuck yuck. I don't like that. Right?
Yep. When Gloria Stefan sang
What lost you? Was it
show.
the fact that aliens don't understand alcohol in the breath? Is that what lost you?
In all honestly, the thing that lost me is the thing that I was sort of joking about at the beginning of the episode when I was recapping, where I was like, every time I was starting to get on board with something, the episode was like, nah, done with that. We're moving on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Like there was no flow to the plot in terms of what's happening. Like the Gaia stuff, first of all, I'm glad she's not dead. That's good. I wonder if they're going to deal with the fact that if you extremist too hard, you explode. It was something that was established in Iron Man 3. I'm going to guess probably not. Probably
yeah.
not.
How about the idea that they were like, what part of Iron Man can we bring out? Extremist? The lamest part? Like, come on. It's just like such a weird, and then we get one little instance of Groot arms here. But I was like,
dude,
which is
Groot arm action?
It's unheralded. It's one quick moment and then there's no more.
Nobody seems fazed by anything or asking any questions about anything in the show. Like nobody seems inquisitive at all. Like nobody at this point has asked, hey, Everett Ross was a Skrull and he died. What happened to Everett Ross? Or even the not big reveal, because we knew this several episodes back. I think pretty much everybody guessed this the first time he showed up, that Don Cheadle was a Skrull. If you didn't, you definitely knew it by the end of the last episode. And if you didn't, they underplayed it anyway. And that's fine. But that nobody is like, so how long has he been a Skrull? What does this mean? When was he? Where is the real? Is Rhodey dead? I don't know. Like these are questions that I think we'll be dealing with. But the fact that everybody's like, well, business as usual, just got to track this skull to the president. Here we go. Is frustrating.
And the idea that they're gonna end up at the end of the final episode and walk into the human computer and be like, oh look, you believe this? Rhodey's here. And it's like, what? We've done that for
Martin
so.
Will be like, I'm here too. Oh, I mean, I'm here too. My American accent.
Yeah.
I just think you're upset because you don't read your wife poetry. You read her one fish, two fish. I think that's
hold
really
on. Just to get back to the flow of it. So like you have the Gaia stuff, and then that gets kind of resolved with Talos that sets up him making the sacrifice at the end of the episode. Their conversation is very clunky. It's fine. They're good actors, but I get that it's setting up the fact that he's like, we just got to prove their hearts to them. And by the end, he's proved his heart to the president by bashing open the window and saving his life. So the president would be like, wow, Skrull amnesty. That guy died for me. That's fine. I get all of that's happening. But then we move on to the Fury, Mrs. Fury thing. And I know they're not going to do that, but that's legit in my mind. Like, that's a whole episode if you want to do
Yeah.
it. That is them working through their relationship and the fact that they potentially have to kill each other. That's a great amount of tension. And I want to see that played out for longer rather than
There's
like,
no time.
we shot at each other, we laugh, and we're like, well, maybe see you next episode. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Agreed.
That's how marriage works, bro.
no, all I'm saying is in terms of the episode that it's a fractured watching experience. Even though I liked particular things in here, there wasn't enough time to sit on them. And then when we moved away from them, it felt like a clunky transition.
Well, I think this show is clumsily made, and it's very funny that they were like, "This is our Andor," a show that is so meticulously crafted that everything like lays on each other in such a great way, and this show just doesn't do that from even a moment to moment basis.
But maybe by the end you'll be calling it Andor. You know what I mean?
I
Like
100% will
there
not.
will be
Not
so
a
many
chance.
connections. Everything will tie together. You know.
We might be calling it but not and.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right. That's an improv joke. I just want to say that, like, I think the
It's not.
I think
it's a pun. I think technically.
I mean it's almost
It's an improv
yes.
joke in the way that I made it up off the top of my head right now, riffing off something
That's
you said,
fair.
but otherwise, no.
That's not the notes that I received about what we were going to say ahead of time.
Yeah.
I think
No
it's one of those.
baby, no baby, yuck yuck. I don't like that.
I did think the, leading with your heart speech was nice. And I thought the kind of awkwardness or tension was kind of like this kind of interesting thing of like, you have an ideal that you live by, but that's not the reality of the world that we live in. And I thought it was a little bit of a younger generation talking to an older generation.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of really nice. And I didn't want to sit in it too long because I didn't want it to be beaten over the head with me. But I understand what you're saying, as far as like.
Well, can I ask you a question about that? And I mean this legitimately. Like, watching that scene, my main reaction was Talos is an idiot and he sounds like an idiot for saying this stuff. Like, it's so unbelievably naive based on everything that's going on in this show, let alone the past couple of decades. It was driving me insane. Do you feel like that's the point though? Like, is that supposed to elicit that reaction? Because the thing that was jamming me up a little bit is, like you're saying, Pete, I do think there's a debate there that's going on that is interesting in terms of, like we talked about with the previous episodes, between graphics people who are like, no, this has been too long. We got to do something here. We can't sit on our asses any longer and wait for somebody to give us stuff. We got to get it ourselves. We got to make it ourselves. Versus Talos' generation is just like, toe the line, everything will be fine. That's where we're going. Like, I like that debate. But the thing that Talos felt so stupid to me in that scene that I think
But
the
it's
indication
supposed to
was
feel
we're
that way.
I think
It's
we're supposed to be
supposed to.
on his side, though. I think we're supposed to be like, he's
No.
saying the right
You're supposed
thing.
to be on her side. He's supposed
Okay,
to look
that was
dumb.
my question. Is the
And
one
yeah,
that-
and we're supposed to be like, no, we're with her. Change needs to happen now. Enough of this toe the line bullshit.
But what does she want? She's not clear about, like, we don't know that character at all. We've seen her do a
She
couple
was just
things.
like, dude, new guy's getting it done. Like, he proved his theory. It's happening. He's got a plan. What's your plan? And he's like, love's our plan, man. Lead with your heart.
But-
Like,
And by the
with
way,
your-
Graphic is only getting it done in the same way that Dr. Claw gets it done at the end of an episode of Inspector
How-
Gadget.
you're goddamn right. It's a great, I definitely see that.
Yeah.
wow,
Which
that's
is to say
great.
not getting it done. But
I don't even
No,
know if I've ever
I
seen you
hope
guys
so.
agree on anything, but the idea that Gravik is Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget, the animated show,
next
is a
Fury. Next
Yeah, no, it's weird. It's exactly how I picture him. And it's weird that Alex looked in my brain and saw that and said it out loud. So I'm completely on board.
That's very, very strange. The thing I was going to say, though, is like Gravik is a villain. Like, we barely understand his philosophy. There's some maybe connection that Nick Fury is sort of his father figure, but again, why haven't we seen any of that in 4 episodes? Nothing. All these characters are just floating in different vacuums, barely touching each other. The scene where, like, I have so many issues with the battle sequence at the end. First off, it felt like a barely budgeted network TV gun battle.
It didn't feel like the president of the United States for sure, because it was like it was like three dudes. Really? Like that's all the press gets when
we're
he's
on the
rolling?
brink of World War. Send him in with 2 cars and 3 guys. One of
Yeah.
whom
Well-
is definitely drunk.
Well,
Yeah,
and
also,
one of whom is the only superhero. I'm like, why don't they want him to put his armor on?
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
doing
Like
something.
War Machine doesn't have a like a briefcase in the back you can change. It was hilarious that in the middle of the fight scene, you cut to War Machine kind of doing what we were doing, just kind of watching, being like, "Ooh, this."
He was
is kinda
basically
fun.
playing Candy Crush. I was like, what is this? Makes no sense. And then Talos is a big hero because he comes up and he takes him longer to punch through the window than a regular armed
No,
human. I'm
that's
like,
bulletproof.
Major?
That's bulletproof. That's extra. On the president's car, they got that extra layer, dude. It's
They have
hard to punch through that.
they have no contingency plans. They're like, sorry, we went to the mall and the president is stuck in the car. It's like 98 degrees heat right now. If we leave him in for 10 minutes, we're in big trouble here. He's going to overheat and die.
Well,
No way of getting him
100%.
out.
When in
Yeah,
doubt,
that-
punch it out, dude.
Talos should be able to turn his hand into something harder than regular human meat. A.
Well, he's
B,
not a super
his-
Skrull.
Skrulls can do that stuff, I think. They could turn it at least into like a bone, right? That's
Yeah,
harder
I don't know,
than
or a bigger guy or something like that, or like a lockpick, like literally anything. To the point that you guys are saying, and again, not to like, this is not trying to rewrite the episode or something, but in
It
terms
seems like you're
of
trying to rewrite.
no, but them giving the tracker to Rhodey, I was like, okay, here we go. They're going to follow Rhodey. They're going to see where he goes on his day. It's a
How much he
straight line.
drinks.
Like, it's legitimately a straight line in terms of the big, like, we're tracking Rhodey, we follow him, we get to the site where the president's going to be attacked, and that's our thing. There's no spycraft involved there.
Exactly.
It's just them drying up to a battle scene. Where,
Also, it
like
seemed
were
like they were just driving by and saw a helicopter and pulled over.
Totally.
100%.
Absolutely the way that it was filmed, which is ridiculous. But like we were saying earlier, the fact that the president doesn't seem to have much of a security detail. And then when 2 old men who previously, I think, are on the run and are like blamed for a big bombing in Russia pull up, they're like, put these guys in charge.
These are our guys.
These old
Yeah,
guys,
go with
they can
us,
barely
yeah.
walk, and we don't like them, but put them in charge.
I think the way it works in the government is oldest gets to be in charge.
Yeah,
I'm just checking
exactly.
that based on like
Yeah.
regular politics
based on
right
current,
now.
United States.
It's like dibs.
Can I throw something out horrible
It's
again?
like
I just want to put
dibs.
this out there, and I know you guys, Pete, you got very angry at me for even suggesting this last episode, but I can't get this out of my brain, and I don't mean anything derogatory about it at all. I really think they are trying to film around Samuel Jackson. Like, he's not
Yeah.
an old guy, but he's an older guy now, and he's done a ton of action movies. He's probably blown out his knees. So many of the scenes in every single one of these episodes are either him sitting down at a table, having a chair at arm's length, or even in the action sequence, he's like standing there and leaning on a car most of the time. That's fine that they could do that, but I do think that has potentially somewhat limited what they could do. And based on interviews that I've read with the director and the producers, it seems like their approach to this was very efficiency based in terms of everything. Like, all their answers are like, yeah, we were just trying to figure out this problem. We pushed ahead and we filmed it. Like,
What do you want to see him doing? Like jump kicks and fucking spin kicks and like.
No, I think what it is if they knew that Samuel Jackson, their star, was going to be physically limited, figure out a plot or a
Yeah.
place to put him that is not in the center of the action.
Well,
I
I
think
think,
the
He
next
can be
two
lying on the
episodes-
chair. He can be like calling stuff, or anything.
Well, but I think you have 2 options. He either can't, because in this episode he is given the role of the superhero. It doesn't track. It doesn't make sense. The only cool thing he does is he's like, "I'll take my car that is somehow better than the president's, and it only shows it's better by opening the door." Something most cars can do.
Well,
None of
not
that makes sense.
everybody's
So, but-
car because it was huge. Everybody else was standing around. They were like, "Well, my car doesn't do that," and he was like, "I press one button, all the doors open, motherfuckers. What's up?"
Why is his car better than the president's? It doesn't make sense.
'Cause
So
all the
I
doors
think
open.
He should either, the show should be about him missing a
Clicker
step.
for the doors. Yeah.
It's really what it's in
I
the
know, it's
episode.
insane. Did you see the deleted scene where he shows off he has a CD player and a tape deck?
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
It's nuts.
What about an 8-track though, bro? You know what I
No,
mean?
come on, man.
No, he does that thing where he sticks the tape in and there's a wire coming out and it goes to an 8-track.
Nice. That's
but-
that's a deep cut.
But what like Alex is saying, where he's somehow using his knowledge to get ahead, or the show's about him not being up to snuff and failing, but figuring it out, or throw an Iron Man glove on him and have him have a little bit of juice. Because the fact that he rolls up there with a regular gun,
dude. The next
everyone else has better guns. Everyone else has better guns. He rolls up, he can't walk, and then he's carrying a younger president out of the car.
The thing that really crystallized for me in this episode, to your point about like he's an old guy who can't keep up, that's the idea of the show. We've talked about that a lot. Like he was hurt by the blip emotionally and physically. He felt like he completely lost control. He went off to space for 5 years, so his bones are probably lighter and stuff or whatever. But he's come back down.
Yeah, that's real,
Space
dude.
bones.
You got
Yeah, he's got
space
space bones,
No,
man.
I know. I had an uncle who had space
Have
bones.
you
I
seen
don't wanna
the
talk
the
about
ice cream? That they eat in space. You know what I mean? Like it's different.
Dippin'
Right.
Dots.
Yeah,
He misses Dippin' Dots.
it. Future
He's
ice cream.
addicted to Dippin' Dots.
Yeah.
Then let's see that. Let's see that in the show. I want to see him eating Dippin' Dots in every scene. This is
Well,
why
I mean-
SAG is striking. They need Dippin'
Oh
Dots
wow.
They've
in the
demanded
Secret
dots.
Invasion show.
We
That was-
demand dots.
The AMPT was willing to cede on every single other demand, but when they got to the Dippin' Dots thing, they were like,
We
absolutely.
can't get Dippin' Dots. They're in space.
What, you want
Wait,
us to
what
go
did
to-
Did you guys
Well,
like
Zaslav
the
doesn't
zoo?
want space bones.
I
You think
don't have time
Zaslav
to
wants
go-
space bones?
You want me to go to the zoo? I don't have time to go to the zoo.
Did you guys like the detail that when he was going to shoot his wife, he didn't put his wedding ring back on? You know what I mean?
That was a good.
Yeah, that's the rule. That's the marriage rule.
Yeah.
here's what
That's
here's
smart.
here's the problem
Rings off.
that I'm having that like crystallized for me in this episode is like, and this came from watching him do the bare minimum of spycraft here, where he was listening into a conversation without people
was.
knowing, and then he gave a
He heard
trick
it.
Don Cheadle into a tracker by having him drink Pappy Van Winkle. All that stuff's
Which is
fine. Like there's nothing
apparently an
complicated
amazing
or-
alcohol.
I want to
It
get
is.
to that in a second because I did way too much research about that. But the all of that stuff is like bare minimum spycraft, and I think it's to show that okay, we're 4 episodes in. Nick Fury is getting back in the game. He knows how to
Back
do
in the
spy
saddle.
stuff. Even if it's not great spy stuff, I get what they're going there. But I think what happened was the first 3 episodes, they didn't just make him like on his back feet; they made him dumber. Like they had to dumb him down to make everybody else one step ahead of him, rather than have him be like, physically, I'm broken. I still know how to do spy stuff, but oh my God, I can't keep up with these people who are even better at spy stuff.
Well, and I would argue, because I think that's true, but maybe even a bigger mistake is like we don't hear him. We don't know what he's thinking and talking about. The scenes when he actually speaks, I think, are good. Like the Pappy Van Winkle conversation is crazy, but it's good. It's
a
interesting.
fun
His
ad for alcohol in the middle of
It's
a
a-
TV show.
It's a weird commercial. We should talk about
And
it.
because it's like, hey, listen, even if you work for the president, you can drink while you're working. You know what I mean? Like
That's-
they're
I
gonna
think
frown
that's-
on you. They're gonna be like, yo, dude,
Get a
take it
mint.
easy. You're close talking. You know what I mean? Like you got to turn it down. But they didn't fire him.
That's true. Hard to fire someone who's like, hey, man, when you talk to the Russians, be tough. Later, I'm War Machine.
War
Scene
Machine.
made
I was
absolutely
in the
no
back.
sense. Is he the party Skrull who they put in the most important role? He's like, I'm wasted. I don't care. None of it makes sense. But if he was able to say like, so this is a liquid tracker, I just got to make him drink. He just drinks it. It's in like if we're hearing about it, we're talking about it. There's going to be some humor there. He can be a little out of touch, but like good at parts of it and bad at other parts. Then that's a show where it's about Nick Fury. This is like watching a slideshow of Nick Fury's shitty vacation.
Well, and also I'll throw out there, and again, we're like re-editing the show a little bit as we go, but
Yeah.
I like I said, I liked a lot of the Don Cheadle stuff. It was at least fun.
It was
there was some
fun.
life to it while you're watching it. I could have followed. That's an entire episode again, like him trying to track Don Cheadle. Instead, you have this very straight line of like, we know something's in the drink because that's how they play out the scene, because that's how these scenes play out. But you don't give us enough time to forget about it in any way. You
Yeah.
don't get Don Cheadle on the road doing various things, doing Skrull things, doing War Machine things, doing whatever things. and then we wrap back to, oh shit, Nick Fury's been following him the entire time. Instead, immediately after that, he's like, it was a liquid tracker. I put it in his drink. Let's go. It's all there's
I want to
no
hear about
suspense to anything.
I want to hear about the research you did on the booze.
Yeah, just one more thing before that. Like, I think that's 100% accurate. And if it was like an episode where they're actually figuring out these is Skrull rather than just not knowing it and then 100% knowing it, they're like, what's he doing? Is this motherfucker a Skrull? Like, I think that's the kind of thing that I want that ride, and we get none of the fun. We get just the poorly structured spy business.
I want to know if I should be buying Pappy Van Winkle.
Oh my God. Well,
very
here's
expensive,
the thing.
Dog.
It is very expensive. There's a couple
Is
of
it
different,
really? In
here's
real
what
life?
I found out. Yes. So I was like, is that really $5,000? Let's find out. And my initial search is confusing because it is I don't know exactly if you call it this, but it's a brand line from Buffalo Trace, who makes a pretty good bourbon whiskey. Pappy Van Winkle is one of their high-end lines. So they have a bunch of different years. I think they have 10-year, 15-year, and 23-year. 23-year is the high end. But the trick of it is it needs to be 23-year for the proper year. So I think it was the 23-year that they released in 2022. So 23 years before that is generally $5,000, and there were bottles of it that sold on auction for $50,000, which is insane.
Sick.
But like they make a very, very limited run of it. But unless I got this wrong, because like Drizzly, which is sort of my go-to, hey, what are prices?
Wow.
No, I don't
Nice.
know. That's reliable. There are a bunch of like very weird websites as well. The one that I think was released this year is currently like $250. Maybe it's $1,000 in some places. The prices were all kind of all over the place, but that's not $5,000 at least yet. So the thing that I'll throw out there that was very stupid, this absolutely doesn't matter. I legitimately like do not care. This isn't something I'm upset about, but technically I believe Secret Invasion takes place in either 2025 or 2026. So at that point, because you remember, because of the blip, because we're actually in the future at this point, that bottle would cost some different amount of money. It would not cost $5,000.
But what about when they flash back to 2012? How much would it be if they?
Great question. I don't know. I can't.
That's a great question.
But whatever it is, it clearly somebody Googled expensive bourbon, and that's what they put down there. But still, it's fun.
I want to throw out there, this is definitely a commercial liquor partnership in here. The amount
you
of
think so?
I do think so, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
the amount of conversation about Pappy Van Winkle
and how good it is. Yeah,
I don't know. I thought I only took it as like, what's an expensive bourbon that, frankly, they could bond over being two black men about together and throw that out there. That seemed to be part of the conversation and the thing they were talking about. Maybe it's a product integration as well. I'm sure they had to get permission from Buffalo Trace, but
I think it was also like. I thought it was Fury kind of playing on the fact that if he is a Skrull, he wouldn't really know about Pappy, and it's such a weird name that it seemed like it kind of like he was.
That was established in the first episode that Skrulls don't know the name Pappy.
Yeah. They call their parents doodas.
Doodas
So
and boobas.
Doodah Van Winkle is something on Skrullos, which of course is the Skrull planet.
Right.
That struck me as a liquor integration, which is a way that a lot of shows get extra budge. So maybe they did that for this, and it's a cool ref too. Have you ever had Pappy Van Winkle? The 10-year is actually not crazy.
Is it good?
I've had it. Yeah, it's good.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
I feel like a lot of I have had it. Yeah, a lot of that world is like a little. You're sort of in it if you're in it, and so trying it, like it was good, but it's still like a classic. Brown flavor.
It tastes like brown.
Tastes like brown.
So
what else about the? Oh yeah, go ahead, Pete.
Do you think because it was a little tough to watch Fury walk away from Talos there on the ground as he was saving the president, who doesn't seem as important in this? But
why he leave that body? Why he leave that Talos?
They don't have time. He's an old man who can only carry one young man at a time.
Yeah. Do you think at the start of the next episode we see Talos come back to life? You know what I mean? So it's a little bit more of the few.
I think Talos is dead. which is a bummer because Ben Mendelsohn is great. Though I will mention,
He's not dead. I mean, we
I
still
will
gotta get...
say that in Captain Marvel, Talos has replaced somebody with the Skrull brain machine, right? Like that's how he ends up with that body. So technically, we could end up in the final episode with the real Ben Mendelsohn showing up in that brain machine and be like, hey,
That's a great
on?
after credits little thing to give us.
Sure. That poor guy who's been in there for like what, 30, 40 years at this point? Something like that.
Long time. Aged.
Probably 23.
So how does it work
back
with
1995 was Captain Marvel?
I was just saying because of the bourbon.
Or 97.
Because of the bourbon. Yeah.
Good. He's expensive.
Do you think it was Buffalo Trace whiskey because they traced Don Cheadle?
Oh,
Yeah.
See what they did there?
They traced him like a doodle.
Yeah. A doodah and a muma.
A doodah and a muma. Priscilla, though, the person she replaced, the actual Priscilla, isn't in the brain machine because she died, is what her story is, right?
That was sad.
So I don't know why they're keeping all the humans alive.
Hey, real quick, if you guys were dying and some alien walked up to you, would you think you would just ask for 3 things? Or
I'd say keep the podcast going. For sure. And I don't know how Skrull
like,
just
worries, I don't even need your brain for that. I'm good.
No, wait, take my brain.
No, it's fine.
What about my takes? I do have a something I want to ask. We've talked a little bit about why they're in the story, why they remain in their human bodies so much. Right. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about it during the Gaia Talos scene. Do you think it's sort of like when you go on vacation, you're just always in a bathing suit? You know, like it's sort of like, oh, I might need this, so I'm not going to change out of it.
Well, I do think,
even though it's a little uncomfortable, it's like
right, like it's a little wet. You're like a little wet, but like the question is, probably going to get wet later, so might as well continue to be wet.
Yeah, they're just going around to the different like bars, all inclusive Earth, Skrull, fruit bars. So they're like, I'll stay in the human face until I get out of the pool.
Yeah. I mean, there are certain scenes where obviously they're talking in public, but there are also other things like Kravik wearing his regular face when he's like, we got to pretend to be Russians and attack the president's men. I'm a guy who is standing in the middle of a Moscow square and blowing up the Moscow square. Nobody will identify me from there. He's like all over the place.
Yeah.
It's totally unclear why he is I don't think he has been a Skrull. Maybe he's scared of looking like a Skrull and that'll be a thing at the end or something like that. Or he's stuck. I don't know, man.
It was it was brought up in the episode of like, don't you want to just be in your own skin? And I thought that was a cool line.
Yeah. That's what I think when I'm wearing my bathing suit on vacation. I just want to be naked at the pool, you know?
Oh, you gotta go. I have a place. I'll recommend it to you.
Oh, sick, dude. Yeah, I'd love it. That'd be great.
Hope they clean that pool regularly.
They absolutely.
Oh, you think that bathing suit's protecting the pool from your disgusting body? Your thin layer of spandex or whatever is protecting.
He wears
the pool.
one of those old timey suits, the stripy ones that you see with the guy.
The barrel. I just wear the barrel.
Made out of wool. You wear a barrel with straps? That's not a swimsuit, my friend. You have a tiny pool. You're inside your own tiny hot tub. That's what that is.
Pete's swimming pool is Niagara Falls.
Yeah.
What else about the episode? Anything else that we want to throw out there? Any other moments or things that you want to call out? Wait a second. Hold on. We've gotten 4 episodes in here, and there's something that we haven't talked about at all that I'm stunned we haven't discussed. Pete, we haven't talked about the Marvel flip and the fact that the Marvel flip is so short on Secret Invasion. Have you completely forgotten it exists? Is that the problem?
Well, I get so mesmerized by that creepy green credits thing. It freaks me out. I can't hit
That's
the
me
skip
making
button.
a raspberry because it sucks.
Yeah. It's a weird thing that I get really spooked out by. And it kind of mind wipes me about the Marvel flip. Yeah, you're right. We do get gypped on the Marvel flip every time.
It's flip.
We got gypped on the Marvel flip. That's
but maybe in the last episodes they'll give us a longer one. You know what I mean?
Definitely not.
Yeah. No baby.
I will say another positive that reminds me. Actually, these episodes are pretty short.
Yeah, this one was short. I was like, Zelvin
I
loves
love this one. I loved the length of this one.
When I saw
Truly.
that, I was so happy. I was like, oh, great. I have plenty of time left today.
And you know what? I was saying I like this episode better, but I definitely think I mostly complained about it. So maybe I need to retract my statement from earlier.
No, what I was saying earlier, I want the show to be good. I don't think it is good.
It's getting there. It's getting better.
I don't know. I don't know.
It is.
They're out of time. First
Yeah.
off, they already finished it, so it's not going to get better. It's not like Pappy Van Winkle, slowly aging to
How
perfection.
dare you?
I'll tell you what.
do
why
they
don't we
get
take it
23
back?
years?
Yeah, we'll check back with the show in 23 years.
Yep.
See how it's aged.
Yum.
Yeah, wow.
Is there a liquid tracker in here?
Oh, it's brown. Tastes brown.
Tastes brown. 2 episodes left. What do we think here? There's
Are we going to
so
move to
much left.
our vision board, something we also haven't done in 4 episodes?
Oh, that's
we
a
go.
great call.
nice
We've been
job.
so disillusioned by this.
We've been invaded. Pete,
This is our invasion boards. Our invasion boards.
Well, Justin, what's on your vision board for the final 2 episodes of the series? What do you want to see happen?
I want them to justify a lot of the wild, different threads they've established here, but whether it's Super Skrulls, the brain machine, the new Skrullos colony that is just hanging out. I want to be in Nick Fury's head. I want to know how Gravik connects to him. If they don't do that next episode, and if he's just a random Skrull, which I feel like they're gesturing that he's not, then I don't know what this is. So I want any human connection between the characters, and it to feel more like the Andor they promised, the and but.
My main thing is I just want to see Fury do Fury stuff, like actual Fury stuff. I know they're trying to build
Let
towards
Fury be
that,
Fury.
but with 2 episodes left, come on, we all know
Release
it's
the
going to
Fury.
We all know it's going to be a big Super Skrull fight in the last episode. That's what they're heading towards, with powers flying all over the place and whatever, and that's fine. It'll be a typical Marvel ending there. But before that, please just give me Fury doing some tricky spy stuff that's interesting, that surprises me in some way, that I'm not getting ahead of. That's what I want. Pete, what about you?
Yeah.
What's on your vision board?
I agree with what you're saying. I would love to see more Fury, getting released and just kind of doing the stuff that we know and love. I'm hoping we're going to get to see all the Skrulls not being humans, being Skrulls and having a battle where it's you got to get to see their numbers a little bit and how kind of powerful they can be. Not pretending to be humans and just kind of attacking as themselves.
Yeah, like some sort of million Skrull march on Washington or something.
What the fuck just happened, dude?
There's a million of them.
There is a million of them.
Yeah, there is. Sure. I was just
This is not a hot button thing. Everybody calls everything a million whatever march. I'm not
That's sort of a cold button topic,
All right.
if that's such a thing.
All right, why don't we wrap up here? If you'd like to support this podcast and all the podcasts we do, patreon.com/comicbookclub to support the show and all the other shows we do. That's what I just said.
That's what we do, yeah.
You can check out our live show, which is a
Skrull.
show that's
He's a
live.
Skrull. The brain machine on Alex is not hooked
Yeah,
up.
baby, I like it like that, okay? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. We do a live show every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. to
We
Facebook
sure do.
and YouTube. Come hang out. We'd love to chat with you about Marvel stuff. Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, or the app of your choice to subscribe, listen, and follow the show at Marvel Vision Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. ComicBookClubLive.com for this podcast and many more. Until next time, stay marvelous.
No, baby, yuck, yuck. I don't like that.
On Earth.
What does that even mean?
What is that? What is that?
From the poem that they read to each other.
It's true. Beloved on Earth. Pete,
Yeah.
you're beloved on Earth.
Oh, thanks, man.